Hey y'all, it's me. You find the spot I'm supposed to look? Okay, over there. Um, yeah, I have short hair because the other night, it's a whole long story, but I'll tell you the brief version, I guess. I've spent too much time out in the sun. I forget to put my hat on, and when you're gray, if you're out in the sun and you forget to wear your hat, your hair's going to turn yellow. So I had yellow on the ends, and then the more silver color was underneath. And pull my hair up a lot because just to get it off my neck, and it looked awful. So a few nights back, I decided, well, I'm going to use. I'd gotten this little purple mask stuff, and I didn't test it to see, what it was going to do to my hair. I just put it on. I mean, I wet my hair good, put it on for the 5 minutes, and then I washed it out. I washed my hair, and I conditioned my hair, and then my hair was yellow and purple. So that was lovely. So a couple nights ago, I took my shower and I got out and I'm looking at that purple yellow mess hanging from my head, and I thought, I'd rather have no hair than yellow and purple hair. So I cut it. I just went nuts and cut it. The next morning, um, Aaron said, "Mom, when'd you get your hair cut?" And I said, "Last night, about midnight or so." I've always cut my own hair, just partly because I'm just too cheap to go to um, a hairdresser. And my sisters always cut my hair when I lived still at home because they both, went through cosmetology. And so it's hard for me to pay people. And I don't know about y'all, but there's been so many times that I've paid for something that I was just disappointed with. So I think, well, if my hair is going to disappoint me, then it's going to disappoint me at the end of my own hand, arm. So that's the hair saga. Um, Today, I have a mess. All right. Oh, by the way, it's still purple and yellow, but it's not as purple and yellow. Excuse me, I'm about to sneeze. I'm in the middle of, I put my air conditioner in a little while ago, and I'm in the middle of putting up my really long easel, which is basically just a board screwed to the wall right there, and then it will have my French plates on it so that I can rehang this very large painting in here. And this painting, it's a 4-panel piece, and just ignore what's on it because it's not going to be what's on it. But let me show you what it would have been. Oops, put this one over here. Let me back up so you can kind of get an idea of what the size would have been. It would have, and they would have hung about 2 inches apart. And let me show you my little diagram from the photograph I was working from. All right. And this is what it would have been and how it would have hung, with the 2 end pieces, hanging off the up above the bottom of the large piece, and then this piece hanging up above the bottom of the large piece. And that's Lake Junaluska. And I had taken those photographs. My mom and I had been riding around one morning after just a pretty snow. We don't get a pretty snow here real often. So we went over to the lake, and there was just some pretty sun shining through those clouds, and I just decided I wanted to paint that. And Hugh builds my frames for me, so I designed and he built this for me. And there would have been about a 2-inch space hanging in between each panel so that you'd see the wall behind. But anyway, y'all, I just got it. I've had this painting going for probably, I don't know, 8 years or so. Of course, I didn't really paint after Jared left. Oops. I just lost my interest in painting, and I'm back to the point where I'm ready to start painting again, and I want to paint that big painting, but I don't want to paint the Lake Junaluska. So I'm getting ready to, oops, that's too shadowed. I'm getting ready to use this photograph, and I had it designed in a 3-panel piece, but I'm going to take this off and readjust it so that I can use the 4-panel piece for it. And this is y'all that have been with me for a while, you've seen this farm. It's just up the road from us, about 1/8 of a mile or so, and it's just really beautiful. It won't be this dark. I'm going to brighten up those back mountains. The fall colors were just spectacular, but I especially like the way that the sun was coming through in that just little center area. So I'll make adjustments to it to brighten it up a bit. But that's where I'm going with that big painting. And at some point in the future, yeah, I might actually still paint the Lake Junaluska painting, because it is very pretty, but it's just nothing that's on my radar right now. So I'm in my art room getting ready to hang that, and I'll show it to y'all probably in a short this week. I like doing those shorts, but I'm getting ready to hang that big board so that I can hang my French cleats on it. And each one of those pieces, let me show you that. I'm gonna have y'all move around and back and forth. Each one of these pieces, of course, hang independently, and they have just a French cleat hanging across the back. So the French cleat hangs on the wall when they're finished, and each piece just sets down on its own little French cleat. So, yay. But I've always wanted to paint that particular scene, and for some reason, I just never, ever. So, here y'all. We're looking at Cleo's back there in the back, and she's just kind of hanging out. That's what I ended up naming her. Corey said she didn't have a name yet, so I figured Cleo sounded good to me. I don't know why. Just for an angelfish, it just sounded like a good name. But anyway, I've just been working on this today, and this evening when it cools down a little bit, I got my other tomatoes planted up in the upper garden, and I've got a bunch of zinnias and sunflowers that need to go out. And I'll take you up in the upper garden and show you the tomatoes one day this week. And just hang out with me, girls, guys. It's a hard week. Tomorrow, our Jared would have been 33 years old. And so I probably won't see you tomorrow. Any of you that have lost loved ones, and especially those of you that have lost your children, you know those birthdays and holidays, and then their angelversary. Those days are really kind of tough to get through. But I appreciate y'all, and those of you that have shared your stories with me about your children. It means a lot. I think that those of us that have just experienced that kind of unique grief. All grief is painful. All grief, absolutely. I'm not minimizing any of it, but there is a unique grief that comes from losing a child. And those of you that share that grief, you understand. So, anyway, I just actually wanted to say hi today. Don't really have a whole lot of wisdom to share. Not that I ever have a lot of wisdom to share, but I do have just a lot of thoughts, I guess. And the problem is, those thoughts just kind of swirl around in my mind, and they have a hard time just landing. That's what I tell you often, that my thoughts are like, trains on multiple tracks, and there's derailments all over the place. And so, I don't know. But anyway, I am going to just close for now. This little video probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but I did just want to say hi. And I will probably see y'all day after tomorrow. But I appreciate y'all. Any prayers and thoughts coming my direction tomorrow, our direction, because the day's equally hard for you. But I appreciate y'all, and I love you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye bye.